We continue our reading of Pope Francis's Meditations, Meeting Jesus in the Sacraments. We begin chapter 18, God's Mercy in Confession. By way of a brief introduction, tomorrow we start the Easter Triduum. With Holy Thursday, the remembrance of the Last Supper, we will begin the 3 holy days which lead us up to the Easter celebrations. This is Wednesday in Holy Week. It is a day that, besides our daily work and the appointed tasks of the day, that we make an attempt to get as quiet as possible. God speaks to us in a special way in these 3 holy coming days, as He speaks already in the Holy Week. As it were, in the Holy Week, God's message, God's voice, His speech becomes louder, as if the volume is turned more on an amplifier. Or when there is a broadcast, the radio signal gets really stronger. We have to switch off all the sources of noise, literally, to hear this message. If we switch off the radio, our concerns, or try to distance ourselves as much as possible from the hustle and bustle of the city, in solitude and silence, when there is no artificial noise and so no image of the media, then we really perceive that God is talking to us. And for Him, establishing a contact or listening to Him is very important. Yesterday, the clergy celebrated the Chrism Mass with their bishop. At St. Andrew's, Holborn, in the church, right above the altar, there is a beautiful, more than life-size cross hanging right above the altar. And when we were praying the words of the liturgy, we raised our eyes to that cross. And one who was looking at that cross, we could ask the Lord, with the help of that beautiful icon, that, Lord, let your silence heal us. That, Lord, let this image counterbalance all the images in our life which are marked by sin. So it was a very purifying experience and image itself. So, if we can get a bit more quiet these days, then we will understand, before we start reading in the coming days, chapter 18 on the Sacrament of Reconciliation, that what happens in confession, when we are confessing our sins, both at the beginning of the Mass and in the Sacrament of Confession, that we become witnesses to this intense listening to God, that we create, that we exclude all the unnecessary noises from our lives, and we are listening to God because He is talking to us. He is sharing His Son's joys and suffering. So let this sacrament be rediscovered and revitalized among Christians as an intense way of listening to God and sharing with God.